Every once in a while, you learn something that you'd wish you'd forget. Maybe it's your sleep paralysis demons, or maybe an obscure psychedelic animation from some far-off country you never even knew existed. Or it could be a donut reminding you that you will always be a virgin. Whoever it may be, we're going to learn about that one mean green mentally ill girl from 1989 that has a cult following that rivals the Nintendo fanboys. Gumi the Vocaloid. But before we can learn about Gumi, the green-haired anime girl, we need to first learn about Gumi, the real-life Filipina Japanese musician. Real name, Megumi Nakajima. Born June 9th, 1989, Megumi had a low-key childhood in a family that was interested in music, with even her father playing the drums. Those were the seeds that gave birth to her dream of working in the music industry. Years later in 2003, she applied for a talent agency audition, where she was accepted, but she didn't make her official debut until April 2007 as Ranka Lee from the anime series Macross Frontier. Things were looking sky high for Megumi. Until 2009, when the internet company came into the picture. They're not an ISP, rather, a company focused on audio and all those gizmos that they sell online. They wanted to dip their toes into the vocal synth community. So, they approached Megumi to provide her voice for some one-off gig. Little did she know that this would be her defining job. Name, Gumi. Gumi was a nickname given to Megumi by her peers ever since her childhood. Short and simple. For marketing, internet company added the Poid at the end as both a homage to Vocaloid and to make it sound futuristic. Literally meaning a Megumi-like Vocaloid. Design? Holy crap, it was inspired by that? Artist Masami Yuki was tasked with giving Gumi a design, and he quickly took inspiration from Megumi's past role with Ranka Lee. Just change the shirt here, add some cleavage there, and those goggles that look like they're from a Gushers fruit candy box, and a design that would look good on a cereal box. Popularity? Crap! Oh wait. She wasn't exactly the smash hit that the internet company wanted, as Gumi struggled with sales against the name brand Big 5, and even against other characters that the internet company sold. There were a few songs in 2009 starring Gumi, but nothing out of the ordinary. It wouldn't be until 2010 where Vocaloid producers slowly but surely saw the potential in Gumi's lack of character as a blank slate to take her in whatever direction they want. Who is Gumi? There are a couple greatest hits moments that I can nerd out about when it comes to Gumi, like how she has 18 different voices that people can toy around with. There was that one time when she was considered the second most popular Vocaloid, or maybe that moment when she was slapped onto a robot. Instead, I want to talk about 3 particular songs that every Vocaloid fan will listen to at least once in their life. I think it's best if we begin with a little cultural exchange.
No.
The Russians, a talented group of people, with their gifts to the world being cursed dashcam videos, literature, and of course, those weird Matryoshka dolls. Matryoshka was one of the first really big Gumi songs. Released back in 2010, it's a duo song where, alongside Hatsune Miku, they sing on a bright sunny day in Morio from Diamond is Unbreakable. What's the connection between Russia and the song Matryoshka? Absolutely nothing. Literally, the producer, Kenshi Yonezu, has left it up to interpretation. When you open up all the Matryoshka dolls, you eventually find nothing within the smallest doll. What was the point in all this? Well, you give it meaning. Here's my little theory. This song paints the story of two people's downward spiral thanks to our good old friend, alcohol abuse. The theory hinges on three main factors. The lines, "You and I having a rendezvous, drink yourself wasted," obviously alluding to alcohol. The music video featuring bright colors and a psychedelic art style, which may be the effects of abusing said alcohol. I don't know, I never drunk before. And of course, the rest of the lyrics not really having a cohesive meaning, aside from a drunk person's attempts at being smart. The final lines of the lyrics are what Miku and Gumi said to each other before passing out. Considering this is Russia, they're probably dead. Against all of his other early works in his discography, this is probably Kenshi Yonezu's most impactful, as people loved it due to how it stands out, especially in the Western world. This was many people's first exposure to Gumi, and even Vocaloid as a whole back in the day. And the best way you can see this is with this one DeviantArt group, Crazy Matroyoshka. Aw, someone has the song in their shoes. That'll cost millions. Cosplay, drawings, and tons of fan remakes of the music video on YouTube and Nico Nico Doga. Every year in the Vocaloid community, there will be at least one song or two that stays in people's minds. And in 2010, it was Matroyoshka. And, for better or for worse, it planted Gumi into the heads of Westerners as the crazy girl with the streetwear hoodie. Seriously, this TV person looks like something a Tumblr girl would gush over. Echo is a song about the TV person having an emotional crisis over them not being able to see and switching up faster than the channels on TV. Basically a mental breakdown in song form. And people loved it. For the longest time, the only popular character with an English voice bank was Luca. And that's what Echo was originally going to be sung by. But sometime in 2013, while planning the song, Citrus P approached Crusher and said, "Dude, look!" Because in February, the internet company released an English voice bank for Gumi. And it sounded wonderful.
Close your eyes, the moment time stops.
It apparently sounds like a British woman. So, over the following months, the duo did a fusion dance to create the neurodivergent TV Gumi. I know they're technically different characters, but just let me have this one. The meaning of the song is up to interpretation, but a common view is that it's about someone struggling with mental illness. Whether it be BPD, DID, BIPOLAR disorder, it clicked with many people in the Western world. Apparently people in the comments section were fighting over Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale, and Homestuck. It was crazy fandom culture in the mid-2010s. This song is the anthem for those guys. Crusher and Citrus P went from nobodies to selling plushies of the TV character. About 10 years after the release on YouTube, it was the second Vocaloid song to reach the legendary 100 million views mark. The first English one too, even before Hatsune Miku. Gumi may be portrayed as someone who wants to be colorful and free, when in reality, people found her via Echo and love her for who she is. And a select few became best friends with her. And the TV lady as well. Released in October 2013, another of Gumi's greatest songs also comes from Kenshi Yonezu via Donut Hole. No, it's not about friends going to Krispy Kreme. It's about a girl trying to find her missing memories. like a hole in her brain, like a hole in a donut, hey! Kenshi Yonezu has a tendency to make songs that are full of mumbo jumbo without any deeper meaning. But I like to think of Donut Hole as Gumi's story of being accepted into the mainstream of the vocaloid scene. This analysis by Nisa from Amino helps explain what I mean. Gumi cannot remember the most important memory about herself. Who is she? It's something that has been pondering over her for a while now, which made her life a mess. But on one day, she decided to take the initiative and try to remember who she was like in the past. Like obsessively studying the night before on a math test, it began to take a toll on her. Was it really worth it? What if the missing memory was something so painful that she actively tried to forget about it even before the incident? So, Gumi decides that it's maybe best to leave this memory in the past. Until she remembers a little word, which leads to her eyes opening up. Your name is?
Your name is... Gumi. Ugh, no, that's a dumb name. Sounds like a food brand. Yeah, can I order more gummy donuts? Thanks.
Basically, this song is about moving forward from the past, but also trying to understand what your lineage comes from. Gumi's identity is always seen as a bit confusing, like she's technically a vocaloid but not really related to the big five vocaloid. She's basically in her own circle, Megpoid or whatever. So finding a clear-cut conclusion was always going to be a bit difficult. But the cool thing about Gumi is that she's a blank slate. Producers and fans can make her story depressing and put her in a downward spiral. Or they can make it hopeful and, dare I say, maybe have a good ending for once? Oh my goodness. Because of these super big songs, alongside many others, I would argue that Gumi was fully adopted into the core Vocaloid family at this point. All because she found her birth certificate under a donut.
Miku, I'm very scared.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing major. There's just a giant fucking robot outside waiting to kill us.
No! It's useless. We're gonna die.
How will I watch SpongeBob now?
Not so fast.
Huh?
Something isn't right. My enemy's invisible. I don't know how to fight. The Donut Hole remake broke Mesmerizer's 10 million view record. Echo got a 10th anniversary remake and marketable plushies.
Not possible.
In the end, I remember those little words. Chigo ni omoidashita sono saichi na kotoba. Oh wait, I had this?
Oh shit.
Woohoo! Yippee!
Who is Gumi? Gumi is a blank slate. You can make her a crazy woman with a mental illness, or you can even make her come out as a Christian. No joke, this song is actually really good. There are countless reasons to love any of the idiot Vocaloid idols, and on her own, Gumi's no different. But over time, she found her crowd. From helping with your mental demons to saving the world from big evil robots. Gumi is a state of mind, and a helpful one at that, in which you'd wish that you will never forget. The new Donut Hole music video is actually really cool. Like, Gumi has a gun now.
There's my bubblegum.